Hey, bro, and internet fans, viewers, family, whoever else watches. Oh, it's been a little while. It's kind of weird to get into a habit like this and then not do it. I was thinking about I need to. No, not today. But today's gonna be a 10-minute long video. To fill in the blanks on my side of what was going on and such. Over the past weekend, because there was a lot. It was a very full weekend. Um, So, in the interest of being real, right? The reason I didn't do my videos this weekend is because I was family, in the Outer Banks, spreading the ashes of my grandfather. Um, and I didn't feel like that was a time that I needed to be doing anything else other than being with my family and being a part of that. And so I talked to Riddler or Aaron, and he agreed. Decided to take them for me as long as I do a 10-minute video today. Um, Outer Banks is a beautiful place. Both my grandma and my grandpa loved being there, feeding the seagulls. They loved to do that, and when my grandma passed, she was also spread in the Outer Banks. It's her favorite place to be, other than home. So my grandpa wanted to be with her, and then we honored their wishes. I got to see the other side of my family, my dad, stepmom, step siblings, aunt and uncle, and cousin, and it's good to see them. We're not usually all together for very long periods of time, so it's very good. Yeah, I don't. A lot of the stuff we talk about on here isn't really heavy stuff. It's not very serious things. Um, Politics we've touched on very slightly, but most of the time it's nerdy stuff because we're both nerds, and that's true. But real life is a thing that we should talk about too. And I mean, we're going to talk like this mainly as our primary means of communication, so I think we should do it. Which is why I haven't called you to talk to you about it, because that's really all there is to say, except I miss him. I miss him a lot, and I wish I could have spent more time. And that's one of those really awkward silence pauses there where no one knows exactly what to say. And the way we did it, we went to a dune. We went down, we got up 2 bags of bread to feed the gulls and flowers for each person to go down and say your piece alone. And I like that a lot more. I like the way that happens. It's much more personal and it's a lot less grim as well than a typical funeral or being cremated in an urn and put in a mausoleum. My great-grandfather, who died, was put in a mausoleum, and I just remember it being a very somber experience for a not very somber man. He was a very funny, very open, very, very vibrant person, and to see the end of his life be dark and grim seemed wrong at the time, and it still really seems wrong, but if that's what he wanted, that's what he wanted. But I much prefer the other way. The say your piece, remember him as he was, and take the lessons that you can. In the interest, another point, since I've got all the time in the world, I don't know if Chandra got the right part of the message that me and my mom both kind of agree on. About, you said that that's part of the reason why you're thinking about bringing her with you to Utah. If you do, that's fine. That's great. What my issue is mainly you guys not defining very well what's going to happen, or defining something that I know is going to hurt you both severely. And I won't get too much more into that because it's your personal life, and I just think that it's a large life decision, for one, and two, you both care about each other a lot. And though you might not deliberately hurt each other, you may hurt each other because neither one of you wants to man or woman up and make a harder decision. That's kind of where I'm at on this side. And of course, take that with a grain of salt because one, I'm not there seeing how you guys interact right now, and two, it's not my life, it's yours. So, I got stuff written down here. Yeah, that's all the real heavy stuff to talk about. On a brighter note, D&D characters, you got my mom's race correct. She is an Aasimar. However, you have still yet to get any one of their classes correct. All three of them. So you have an Aasimar for my mom, an Elf for Sydney, and a Tabaxi for Nick. So, you're on the way. You're getting there. Double check your notebook. Make sure that you've asked those things. So we have another thing that happened today. While I was gone was a week ago. The cabinet in the laundry room fell, and it wasn't in studs. It was in the drywall, and it just fell out over time. We're not sure at the time. Over the weekend, my mom, her closet, which is on the other side of the wall from the laundry room, stuff fell down in there off the drywall, and then she noticed that there was a little bubble of paint on the ceiling. So she called the plumber. They came today, looked at that, and found out that the spigot on the tub was messed up and wonky. So he fixed it. They put in a new one, and we fixed the drain, which was not entirely draining all the way, and it was real gross. Had to clean that out. But we're going to have to do some drywalling. So maybe in the videos to come, you'll see me doing some drywalling for that ceiling in her room where he had to cut in. On the bath note, Boba, because that's the reason I brought that up, is he had to go into like a crawl space where there was the fiberglass insulation stuff, and Boba climbed in there with the guy because he was like, oh, this is a great new place to explore. So we had to give him a bath today, and it was easier with two people than it is with one, but he does not like water. He hates water, so he's still licking his fur, trying to get it all clean and dry. I did have a question for you, and that is, you mentioned Dead of Winter a couple of videos ago, and I would really like to play that with my family. So, what's the word other than bird? Don't say bird. What's the word on that? Two more things, and then I'll just have to riff for another however long's left. I saw Wonder Woman with family members. I'm not a huge DC fan, and I can find a lot of flaws in DC compared to Marvel. However, Wonder Woman was very good. It had a couple of times in there where, even as a superhero movie, it was kind of like a suspension of disbelief was fractured a bit. But all in all, a very solid movie, and DC didn't shirk away from the fact that it's a heroine instead of a hero. They weren't like, oh, she needs a man to save. No, it was none of that. It was very much Wonder Woman being the hero or heroine. The last thing is I'm thinking about getting a pocket watch, but having the chain, keeping the chain, and having Jesse, the guy who does the cosplay, I gave you one of his prints, do a leather strap, because I thought I wanted a cuff watch as well, but I've always wanted a pocket watch, and he can make a leather piece for the pocket watch to insert into, which is a whole nother thing. Like, not many people would have one of those, and I think that's really cool, and I think I'm going to get him to do that. And he has a friend who makes or fixes old pocket watches and such, so yeah. A punishment for the time going over. The jury's still out. Some of them the suggestions that I've heard are very, very cruel for you turning yourself in. So I think it might just be a little something easy or goofy to have you go do something like that. That's all I got. Nice little list of all the stuff on there. Thank you for this weekend. It was nice to not have to do it, and I will see you tomorrow.